We have different levels of evidence for different kinds of theories. So it's true, like we don't have all the evidence for everything.
What's your best, what's your number one?
What we can say, what you could take to the bank, you go on the most corporate establishment, mainstream television debate, and what you could prove, not suggest, not hint, you can prove that let's start with the United States military, has had encounters with objects that are not supposed to exist, that do things and have done things for decades that are not supposed to be possible. And we know this. We've had more than enough declassified documents over the years. We started getting them in the 1970s, but we had even well-attested military accounts prior to that of objects over at, let's say, in the 1940s at White Sands during Navy missile tests, tracking with theodolites, which are telescopes with a lot of different instrumentation that can track the altitude and speed and diameter of objects in the sky. Circling around, doing acrobatic maneuvers and taking off. We've got FBI documents that tracked this, that described objects moving at 9,000 miles per hour in 1949, at altitudes of 50,000 feet and higher, with diameters of 30 feet. Accurate. Again and again, you have, so we've got statements by the highest level military base commanders and beyond expressing extreme concern and worry over these objects.
Professional witnesses, Richard, but like Whitley said, it's still just stories.
No.
They're
not just stories.
This is at a higher level.
But let me...
These are more than stories, and what I would just say is those cumulative documents that we have are not proof that these are aliens. Right. That's not proof. But they are proof that there is something important going on that we don't have a proper explanation of, and that we demand an adult conversation in our society to understand what this is. And it certainly is something extraordinary. So we start there. And obviously one possibility is that it is something beyond our civilization. And I would say another level of evidence, not quite the same. You knew Leonard Stringfield.
Yes.
I never had the honor, but I've read all of his work. And Leonard Stringfield, I think many people have forgotten who he is.
Situation Red is one of the most important books.
I think even more important are his collected 7 volumes of his status reports, which you can buy on Amazon for $80.
Yeah. And they're all at Earth Files because I respected his work so much.
Wonderful.
I got his wife's permission, and they are all at earthfiles.com.
Stringfield was a man who in the 1970s, when Jimmy Carter, as candidate for the White House, told the world that he had seen a UFO. All right, that was kind of a big thing, and everyone's like, oh my God, you saw a UFO. And so Carter gets asked questions, will you release the Project Blue Book files? And, you know, he went through this whole thing. Well, if it doesn't affect national security. The thing was, at that time, Stringfield, living near Cincinnati, started getting people coming to him, because he had written about this in Situation Red a little bit about crash retrievals of UFOs, the forbidden topic. No one talked about this back then. Stringfield, working off of another researcher, Ray Fowler, talks a little bit about the Kingman UFO event from 1953. And what he said was very on point. People started coming to Stringfield thinking, well, if the president's going to talk about this, let's give you my story. He starts getting dozens and scores, these amazing stories of people saying, yeah, I did a security detail at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and there were 9 alien bodies. Or someone saying, yes, I read a top secret document about a series of UFO crashes in the American Southwest in the 1950s, and what have you. And he started getting them all. Now, when you look at the cumulative effect of Stringfield's stories, all right, that's not proof either. But look, a rational mind, an intelligent person reading this, there is no way you can just dismiss these out of hand. You know there's something there.
And
all right, you know there's something there, right?
I sat next to him on a sofa in his house, and he went to a file drawer and brought correspondence for me to look. And he said, Linda, I was in the U.S. Air Force. And he said, I can tell you we had a standing order not known to the public to shoot down UFOs. And he said, this is Leonard Stringfield talking to me like I'm sitting right next to William. He said, we lost so many pilots trying to carry out that order, and not a single family was ever told the truth.
Wow.
Quote, unquote, Leonard Stringfield
Wow.
directly to me.
But you know, there's a